got Tuesday and Wednesday in the books. Kids are excited for the weekend. Still got a lot of work to do the next 2 days, get mentally prepared for what we need to do on Saturday. It's going to be a great atmosphere to play in, I'm sure. Going to be a lot of purple and gold down there, so excited about that and just looking forward to the matchup. Questions?
This will be the third road game. You know, all three of y'all have pretty good road contingents most likely. Just what does that mean to you guys?
Just like I talked about last weekend with our crowd we had on Saturday. You know, if these regional games they're really good for us because our fans can get to the games. You know, we've got a huge contingency of Pirate alumni in the Charlotte area, and it's pretty easy to get there from here. So it means a lot because the players, we talked about it right before we came inside. Just there's gonna be a lot of purple and gold in the stands on Saturday, cheering them on, and so we got to make sure we do our part. But it's the passion of Pirate Nation. It's the reason this place is special.
Charlotte, sounds like their quarterback Max Brown back at practice. Just what does that do for you guys as far as game prep and everything?
We got to prepare for everything. So we've got film on all three of them, and similar situation last year when you're unsure about who you're going to have, so you just got to prepare for whatever comes at you. So the kids are focused in on that.
How's Conrad doing? Is he back? Is he healthy?
He kicked yesterday a little bit, and so we'll see how he does on Friday.
You got a chance to go 2-0, not only in conference but back-to-back weeks. I mean, what's that opportunity like for you guys?
Well, the big thing we got to keep our focus on is going 1-0 this week. Last week's over and done with. Same thing we said last week this time. Can't do anything about that one. Can't do anything about the one after this weekend. So your whole focus is whatever it takes to go 1-0 this weekend. That's kind of the mantra that we've had week to week this year.
You had a couple of bang-bangs, roughing the passer calls. Are those like, hey, keep the aggression, or that you got to know when to let up? How do you?
No, those were both clean hits. Those kids, great plays, and they know when to pull off and when not to.
Luke had a really great punt on Saturday. How have you seen him evolve? Coming as a rugby-style punter, it's a little tougher to learn to stop him inside the 5, but he's really evolved.
Well, I think he's just he's playing like an experienced veteran, and he's calm and cool under pressure. We had the deal where Tarpey, I don't know if he's in La La Land or something, and he was late getting on the field for that field goal the other night, and Luke would have gotten the snap off. I called the timeout because I didn't want to rush everybody. Luke was calm under pressure. Now, a few years ago, maybe he wouldn't have been that calm. I don't know. But it's good to have a guy out there that has composure.
Did you see composure from Perez on Saturday?
Yeah.
His first kick?
I saw the same guy that I've watched for the past couple of weeks in practice. I think, and he's been the same this week. And I think that, says a lot about him. He had his opportunity, and we talk about it a lot. Be ready. Everybody in the room, I talk to them every year. You got a bunch of kids in here that they're frustrated. They're not starting. They're not playing as much as they want to. And I just keep on reinforcing to them is, you're going to get your shot at some point. Every player in our room, there was a day when I got my shot. In college football, you got to be ready when you get your shot, because you may not get a second shot, but everybody's going to get a shot. And if you're prepared and you've done the work and you go out there and you perform, then more power to you. That's fantastic. I'm really proud of him.
I know they went stern week 1 when they had like 8 or 9 starters out for their opening game. Do they seem any more or less healthy from that point on to now in your mind?
No, I mean they've got I don't know what their roster looked like before game 1, but they've got a lot of guys playing a lot of snaps, and they've got a lot of guys that have played. Whether it's there or somewhere else, they've got a veteran bunch, particularly up front on both sides of the football. Doesn't look like they're missing much. The quarterback is the obvious, but if he's back, then I would say they're at full strength. But they're a good football team. So we've got to make sure that we're at our best on Saturday.
Could you see a scenario of the kicking where you use Perez like for short kicks and Conrad for long kicks, or would you rather just have one kicker?
With everything that we do, we're going to do what is best for the Pirates. And Coach Powell, veteran guy, so he and I talk a lot about what's best. And obviously we watch practice every single day, and have for a couple of months. And so decisions that we make will be for what gives us the best chance to win on game day.
Saw kind of the freshman roller coaster with Young Smith making an amazing catch and then having that penalty. Is that just part of being a freshman? What was your talk with him like after that?
That's the thing with being freshmen. And I talked to He, Jamarly, D-Money, I mean, all those young guys, I talked to them before the season started, and just about if you're going to play, then, you know, you've got to really, really be on it, because, you know, we can't afford for you to go out there and be a freshman on the field. And that was a freshman moment. You know, thank goodness it didn't cost us, and that's why I told him later, hey, it didn't cost us. That's what I've been talking to you about. You know, you can't, you know, take a play off or anything like that. Now, our big focus this week in practice is, you know, we hard counted the punt return team a lot, you know, because we got to do our part as coaches to make sure that we can't assume that they're all going to do what we say. We got to put them in those situations during practice. And so we've tried to do a better job with him this week, but it was a great learning lesson for him also.
Anything else? Appreciate it.
All right, appreciate it.
All that stuff last week, guys reached out through text message and everything. Grandmother was 93, had I think passed away just a few minutes before I walked in here last week, so it kind of caught me off guard a little bit, but she lived a good life and in a better place now, and just appreciate those texts and thoughts there. And also our thoughts and prayers. We got a huge ball game this week, but our thoughts and prayers, you know, I'm from the 828 in the mountains up there. My family's, you know, doing good and safe from the storm and all those things, but so many people aren't. So we want to keep those people in our thoughts and prayers, and keep helping out there, because, you know, a lot of images coming out of there just are wild and just shocking. So just continue to keep those guys in our thoughts and prayers, but as we go there. So.
You know, obviously you got a busy job. How do you balance, you know, family stuff like that and everything going on back home with, you know, coordinating the game, trying to win?
Yeah, I don't think you even think about it. You know, I think you know, it's just like you got to keep on going. It's like our players. It's the next play mentality, and what we teach them is no different than what we got to do as men or as adults. You know, we can't worry about the last play. We can't worry about what's going on in our lives. We got to focus on what's next. I keep saying this, like the most important day, the biggest day of the year is today, and we got to value today, and we got to go attack the next play. And I think that carries over to our lives. You know, you got something going on with your family, you got something going on with your job. You got to focus on what's in front of you and really give that all your attention. And, you know, hey, once you take care of that, then you take care of the next play. That's what we do in football, and I think it carries over to life as well. And, you know, I'm blessed to have a really good support system at home and with family, my wife, my kids, and everything that helps me with that too. So there's a lot of people. It takes a village. We say that all the time in our program here at ECU. It takes all of Pirate Nation to get this thing done. Pirate Nation was awesome on Saturday and helped us get that win. It takes everybody. So we'll continue to do that.
With that said, what has it been like for you since Friday, seeing all those pictures and videos?
Yeah, I just, you know, at first you're thinking, well, it's just this little section or that little section, and then just the more you see, you realize how many people are affected up there. You know, and you've seen some heavy rainstorms up there, some mudslides before. You know, I-40's always been had its issues over the years, especially in the gorge there. But just you know, the things that happen in Nashville and Boone and Chimney Rock and all those places is just wild. So. You know, and I think about being trapped and having, you know, a 15-mile walk out. You know, for some of us, that might be easy on a road, but when all of a sudden trees are down and you're trying to navigate through the woods or the hillside there, that could be kind of tough. So just continue to pray for those folks up there.
I wanted to ask about the late hits. Mike Houston said they were good, clean hits. J.D. Lampley told me about the basketball rule, I guess 2 steps after you dribble. And so did you think they were clean, and what did you say to your guys after those? I think it was Sam and J.D.
Well, that's funny. JD saying something about basketball. You know, I'm sure he's an awful basketball player, and I didn't even know he knew anything about basketball. But that's probably a good way to look at it. At the time, as soon as you see the yellow flag come out, I always, you know, I get upset at the official first, then I get upset at the player, then I get over it after a few seconds. But you know, I think they said both of those would have been clean, you know, should have been clean. I think they said the long run, the 4th down there should have been a false start and a face mask, you know, on their receiver grab Mike. But none of that matters. You know, we just talked about it. In life, in football, play the next play. Move on, play the next play, make the best of it. So we got to keep doing that. I do like that we're getting pressure on the quarterback and affecting the game there. You know, it may not show up in the stat categories of sacks, but I certainly think that's causing turnovers, causing him to be uncomfortable back there. I thought he was a really good quarterback coming in the game and may have graded out, I don't know, PFF, his lowest grade of the year. And I would like to think we had something to do with that, just the pressure we put on him.
You guys were 80% successful on 4th down, about 2/3 successful on 3rd down. What was the difference in the Liberty game and last week?
Yeah, I think the guys just kind of took focus on it throughout the week. You know, our players, when they put their mind to something, they can go at it. And I think they did a really good job of finishing the game, finishing third down, finishing the drive, and really attacking there. So I think just a mindset there. We had 22 of them, I think, and really successful on a bunch of them. So, and the ones that stand out in my mind are the ones we don't get. But, you know, I think it's credit to our players just really locking in and getting after the quarterback, doing a good job in coverage. I thought for the first time all year, too, we did a good job in the secondary of, you know, we call it the Tyson, PBUs, knocking that ball out, punching that ball out. That's the reason we call it Tyson, just punching it out. And we thought we did a good job of that in the secondary because a punch out on third down is completion, a gain of 0, incompletion, we're off the field. And that's a great job winning third down by those young men.
Speaking of being off the field, fourth quarter felt like you guys were on the field the whole time. I mean, what can you? I mean, there was like 7 punts there in a matter of moments. Like, what can you say about the way your group continued to just finish out the game?
Yeah, I think I read that afterwards that we had so many possessions. But I don't think you ever think about that during the game. Just every possession you're out there, you're thinking about going and winning the game and making the play that's going to win the game, getting the third down stop to win the game, getting the fourth down stop to win the game. And that was really, you know, on the run that popped out, that was really our mindset. They were going to go for it on fourth down from their own 35, 8 minutes or whatever to go in the game. Hey, we're gonna go win the game right here. And I think that's how we're going to call it. That's how we're going to play. We're going to play with our chin out of our toes. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to fly around. You know, you could say, oh, well, I should have made a call there to, maybe give up the first down, don't give up the home run. Let's go win the game. Let's play that way. Let's play to go win the game. Let's make calls to go win the game. Let's put our young men in positions to go win the game. All right? And I think if we'll do that continually for 4 quarters, we'll have a chance and opportunity to win the game at the end, which we did on Saturday.
Charlotte, another year you're preparing for what, 3 quarterbacks? So
Yeah.
What's this week like? And then obviously Max Brown sounds like he's back in practice.
Yeah, you always prepare for, the starter, the backup, and talk about how guys can be different and how the offense may vary a little bit or not vary a little bit, what the strengths are, what the weaknesses are of each young man, whether it be quarterback, running back, receiver, whatever it may be. I think the Clark kid played for the first time in 2 years last week. So, everybody's going to show up and play against us. We're ready for it. We'll be prepared for all 3. And all 3 are certainly good quarterbacks. I think all 3 do a job. They all present different, they'll attack you in different ways. So we got to be prepared for it. But I think that's just part of college football. There's no injury report right now in college football like the NFL. And until we have that, you're always going to prepare for guys that might be hurt, might not be hurt. And you got to fully expect them to play and be healthy and be ready to go.
Second full week without Savon, how do you think the 2 guys are really stepping in for him?
Yeah, I think Lamp had a pick last week, and Nash been playing exceptionally well. And IBM's raised his game. I think the one thing, and you saw it with Zakai went out of the game last week, you're missing Vaughn, you're missing Zakai, but you see the guys around them, they just take the next step. They just take the next step. And we talk about every week and every day, hey, today's got to be the best day I've ever had at practice. This Saturday's got to be my best game. Well, why? Because it's the next one. We want to grow each and every single day, grow in each and every single game. I told my guys, if you peak game 2, game 3, game 4, then what are you going to do the rest of the year? You're going to be awful come, November. But we want to grow each and every single day as football players, as young men in our communities, whatever it may be. But you've seen Lamp do that. You've seen Nash do that. And they're certainly talented, and you can see them growing more confidence every single snap. And they belong out there. They look like 2 starters out there. So just really proud of those 2 young men.
How does a second half like this past Saturday kind of add to the confidence of the entire group after getting off the field?
Yeah, I think especially the 2 previous weeks, just that was our mindset, go finish. And we proved to ourselves that, hey, we can finish. We proved that, hey, we've got it in us in the 3rd and 4th quarter. I thought that the guys did a better job attacking that all week in practice and, having that mindset and being ready to go approach that, and did that in the 4th quarter especially. We just talked about the number of possessions there you had. It would easy to lose focus there in the 4th quarter when you have that many possessions and give the offense that many opportunities. But they stepped up, kept it going. The big series I was proud of them was when they had a sudden change. They got the ball down there about the 30-yard line, 25-yard line, and it was a quick 4 and out. And boom, that sealed the game pretty much and put it away. And that was really good to see by our defense, just the mindset they had there. So just really proud of those guys. I thought our coaches did a really good job of rotating guys too, especially early in the game, to make sure we're fresh in the 4th quarter when the game's on the line and when it matters.
Kind of touched on with Zakai being out, but DJ, Julian, Damian, that group?
Yeah, I mean, Julian Davis, I said to the defense on Sunday, I said, you never know when your opportunity is going to come. I mean, Julian Davis goes into the game. He's our third Mike. He plays 20 snaps. He probably hadn't played 5 snaps of defense in his career here, you know, and goes in there, makes tackles, running around, making plays, and looks like it belongs. And you gain – not only does he gain more confidence in himself, his teammates, his coaches, everybody, you know, and he's going to play a big role this week. You know, Zakai may or may not be back. Who knows? He's preparing like he is going to be, and we're going to prepare like he's going to be there, and also have adjustments if he's not. And then Day-Day's played the most snaps he's played in the ball game. So just to see those 2 young men step up, and DJ as well, and you know, fill the void there, and go make plays when it matters, when the game's on the line in a tight ball game against a very good opponent, was not only good for, you know, me, I was proud of them, but just for themselves as well. So just they work so hard, and a lot of times we don't see that on game day, what these young men and what these guys put into in the summer, during meetings, you know, studying at night, practice, and you never know when your opportunity is going to be called. And that was my message to our young guys. Just you never know when you're going to get that opportunity. And Julian got his, and DJ got his, and Day-Day, and they all did a really good job with being prepared. And that's what we got to continue to do. So, and that's also good for our depth. I pointed out DJ and Julian, in all purposes, they're redshirt freshmen, first-year players. KJ Merrill, first-year player. Jamarli Riddle, first-year player. Every single day you can see those guys growing and getting better, and just, you know, really proud of those guys, and we need more guys to step up like that.
And then Charlotte personnel-wise, you mentioned the quarterback. You know, it seems like they got some good running backs. We know make up Blake a little bit at receiver. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think they're a very good football team. I think their O-line is really good. I think solid. As soon as I turn on the tape, I noticed the twitch of those guards coming off the rock, and doubling 3 techniques and doubling nose guards. And I said, ooh, that was the first thing that caught my attention. I think that center does a good job. Those 2 guards are really good. You know, they're going to huddle. They're going to shift around, motion around, a lot of eye candy. I almost called it an NFL-style offense where you're going to see them huddle every snap and then break out, and they're going to give you different pitchers. And different looks. Obviously, the running backs is kind of by a stable back there. There's a bunch of them. They do a really good job getting downhill. Number 5, I think 220, 225 pounds. I like 0 back there. I think 21 is a kid from Charlotte there that's, you know, they'll line him up out wide, bring him on the jet sweeps. He's got speed. He can make you miss. He's a return guy as well. Then the receivers. You know, 8 catches everything around him. Omega, you talked about him, had a couple deep balls last week. He gets behind the secondary, so we got to stay on top of him. And then I think their tight ends may be the best room in our league. I mean, that tight end group is special. 18's, you know, returner from last year. He's the second most targeted player on their team as far as the receiving core. 81, 35, all big guys that can do a good job in the run game, whether it's on the split zone, the counter, whatever it may be there. So I think we got our hands full. We got to do a really good job of making sure we stop the run game, take care of their controlled pass game, make sure we don't let Omega and Mac, number 3, get behind us, and then on third down, put them in positions where they're uncomfortable. So it's got our hands full, especially playing down there. I'm excited about Pirate Nation filling up that stadium and being loud, and our guys are excited to play an in-state game. I appreciate you guys.
Coach, that second, third quarter, I'm guessing you were pretty happy. So what went right in those stages of the game for your offense?
Really, we just, you know, we finally started hitting some of those deep balls that we've been missing. You know, we found ourselves in a couple one-on-one situations and, you know, put a good ball in the air, and the receivers went and made a play. And that's, you know, when we're hitting those type of things, this is when this thing gets pretty fun. So just from an execution standpoint, you know, it was probably the best, you know, we've been for a couple quarters the last few games. But I was just I was pleased with it because, you know, like we said, it's been, you know, you're frustrated because you missed some of those the last couple games, but to finally hit some in stride and hit them how we want is, you know, is really encouraging.
It feels like, too, like still the receivers are winning a lot in those cases, and maybe underthrow or protection. What's kind of leading to still maybe some of those yards being left on the field?
You know, it's the same thing, you know, like last week. It's just one thing here or there. You know, if it's protection one time, it's not having my feet set or having my feet how they're supposed to be to put the ball where we need it. But, you know, just continue to work it, you know, continue trying to get to a point, you know, like Chase's that he caught there in the second quarter that kind of ended up leading to the scoring drive. You know, I would much rather him catch that and go score so we don't have to call, you know, 4 or 5 more plays down the red zone and try and go score from far instead.
But yeah, we got to continue to work those things, because when our guys win like that, we've got to put the ball where it's supposed to be so that we can go score on those plays.
How do you balance, the fourth quarter when it's a 2-possession game like that, trying to be aggressive, take those kill shots, and also just trying to go clock?
Right. You got to, the thing about us is you can't change, you can't change how we play as far as, we got to be smart, and we can't just go as fast as possible, but we also got to stay in rhythm. And, I felt like we got out of rhythm a little bit the other night. It starts with me. I got to do a better job of putting us in a better position to do some things better and do some things differently, and doing things that are going to allow us to have success, get a few more first downs. But it's kind of a balance. When you are a tempo team, you've got to lead, but we got to learn how to play with the lead, because we're going to be in plenty more games this season where it's going to be the fourth quarter, and we're going to have a 1-score, 2-score lead, and we got to go find ways to continue to stay productive and go finish drives and put them in the end zone.
Rajay carrying a lot of the workload right now. Are you happy with where Marlon and London are, coming along with progress to get them more carries?
No, we need to kind of get a little more balance back there and probably distribute some of those touches a little bit, and get those guys going, because the more successful we've been the last few years, we've always had 2 or 3 guys that have rolled, and it just allows those guys to stay fresh, especially late in the game like the other night when we need to go lean on them a little bit and run the football. It helps when you've been able to roll 2 or 3 backs throughout the game. That way they're all fresh.
And with the run game, do you feel like it was, obviously you just said you got a really good front. Was it that, or was it communication? What did you see out there?
UTSA is really good up front, and we knew that going in. But those 2 guys in the middle are really hard to move. They've got great length, great size. It was a little bit of both. Just never really gotten a rhythm early in the game as far as establishing, first downs early in a drive to kind of get tempo and get those big guys, because that's your only chance. When you get a couple 320-pounders in the middle, those guys are hard to move. And so you got to get those guys going early, try and wear them down a little bit, and we just weren't able to do that. And I think that's what led to some of the inconsistencies running it. We missed a few runs. We lost a few guys late. There was, after the catch by Yannick, we pop a run on the next one, and we're 1 guy away from scoring a touchdown there on the first play right after Yannick's catch. And so there's things like that happen throughout the game. But, at the end of the day, we gotta lock in and do a better job of finding more consistent runs. We gotta find a way to get more consistent 5, 6, 7, 8 yard runs than what we're getting right now.
Obviously, you won't be coaching directly against Omega Blake, but he was here in the spring. Any worry that he's going to give any of the tips and stuff to the defense, and did you have to change anything up this week?
Not really. I just, for him, he's in his 3rd offense in the last probably 6, 7 months, and so he's probably had to focus in on his offense there, and just like us as coaches, there's a lot of times you kind of forget more football than at the present time, or you've learned. So I don't worry about it so much, and obviously we go pretty quickly. So being able to share that information and get it relayed to the defense would be pretty tough.
What do you see out of Charlotte defensively?
Very similar to UTSA, very strong up front. They've got a couple guys in the interior D-line that are really talented. They've got really solid edge guys, some really good pass rush guys. Linebackers are solid. Back end, they've got a really talented corner. They do a good job. I think the DC does a really good job of mixing things up. You're never going to get the same call many times in a row. And so we got our hands full for sure. We got to find a way to just make sure we've got a good game plan to make sure whatever we're getting, it can handle versus a lot of different things, because we're going to see a lot of different things. He'll be aggressive. He'll come after you. So we definitely got our hands full.
Now you're still looking for that first turnover-free game from Jake, but what are those conversations like week to week with him as far as what he's doing good and what he needs to improve on?
Yeah, I mean that is the huge and main focus. With the defense that we have, and the ability that we have to be explosive on offense, we know this, and we preach it every week. That it's a consistent message of we have to protect the football, and if we'll do that, we are going to find ourselves in a situation we can win every game we play the rest of the season. But it's it's something that it's talked about every single week. It's been talked about since the first day we got here in fall camp. But we have to protect the football. And, we had a couple the other night, and one was a breakdown by at another skill position that led to one, and then the other one he was late, and he had bad feet, and he was late on the throw, and you can't do that when it's a field out route like that. It's going to cost you. So it's been the same message that it's always been. He knows the good things that he's doing, and we're going to continue to build on those. But at the end of the day, we have to protect the football. There's no excuses. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. We have to.
The little nuances in the offense, like that pick on what should have been, I guess, a deeper route by the X receiver. Do you have to remind yourself so it's first year of the offense? Like, I'm sure things that frustrated you.
Yes, yeah, it is frustrating, but at the same time, the first thing you have to do is you have to look at yourself. First starts with me, and then it starts with the other coaches. Like, you can't under communicate. You have to over communicate everything, because what you think makes a ton of sense in your mind, when it gets communicated the first time, it may not register. And so for us as coaching staff, starting with me, we have to communicate, and we have to over communicate and make sure we're getting exactly what we want, the details of what we want in every play. Because that's the difference between a touchdown and a turnover. And so it is frustrating, but at the same time, before you go, getting mad at a player, you better look at yourself. And that's where we have to do a better job. I have to do a better job of making sure I know it got communicated, but we got to make sure that it gets communicated the right way to where our kids they're on the same page and they know exactly what we're wanting to get done.
Biggest score of the game might have been right there before halftime. How much do you put into those in the first half, coming out of the second half moments there?
No, it's huge. Places I've been before, we've used that as one of our team goals, as the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half. And if you can win those 8 minutes, you have a great chance of winning the football game. And so for us to go in there and put a score on the board right before the end of the half, defense comes out, does a great job, gets a 3 and out, and then we go right down there and score. And that's a 14-point swing in the game. And it was huge. And it was something, the thing I was most proud of, it was something we harped on all week, and it was something we said to the players of, it's time, we found ourselves down, for the first time in the game in a few weeks, and it was like, okay, we need to respond. We need to go do to somebody what's been done to us the last couple of weeks. And I thought our guys responded. They came out in the second half the right way. And went and attacked those guys. And so that was another step in the right direction, and just the process of trying to build to where we want to get to as a unit and as a team.
It's not like a broken record by now, but another game where it's going to be a lot of purple in the stands, especially an in-state game. How excited are you to kind of see what it's going to be like?
No, it's awesome. And it's, there's nothing better than going into another team's stadium and being able to look up and see a ton of purple and gold. Hopefully it looks just like it did when we were up at ODU, but that's the greatest thing about Pirate Nation. They're going to show up wherever we're at, and hopefully we can have a ton of purple there on Saturday and make sure we're celebrating with them afterwards.
Y'all are using some, 7-man protection at times, especially this past game. Is that new for you at all, or just something you got to decide game to game?
No, it's part of what we do. There's certain schemes that we do that it's a part of, but it's an easy protection. But the other thing is, it shores up things, and there's certain things that we do offensively that it's a part of what we do. And, it helps. It helps for sure, because you can keep those guys in and make sure we shore up the pocket and give us a clean pocket. Because, as we've seen, if Jake's got a clean pocket, he's pretty good with the ball in his hand.
Anything else? Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it, guys.